Yay! Hi, Christy.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my God. So I am so excited to already have Christy Avis back on the show.
Again.
Again. It's so good because for those of you who did not hear our first chat back in July, at that time, Christy had quantum leaped literally in May. You had your first 20K cash month in, and you had just joined Femmepire. And then in July, we were celebrating your first 70K cash, 6-figure sales month. And then here we are leaping again. And in the month of September, you celebrated $107,000 cash. I don't know, you know your sales number?
I do not know my sales number, which
Probably
I
real
should.
fucking high, baby. So.
It's real high. It's up there.
It's up there. So regardless, because I feel like so much of the frequency, and this was one that I was playing with too, is it was like, okay, first let's just touch 100 whichever the fuck way, right? So it tends to be that most people hit it in sales first, and I did too. But then I will say, just having had the lived experience of both, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say too. $100,000, like surpassing $100,000 cash in 30 days is like a whole other fucking vibe.
It completely is. It was shocking, and it feels different within my system. And tracking my sales to see $100,000 was possible, even in sales, was what energetically prepared me to leap into that just being no big deal and it happening as cash.
Well, that's why I always tell you guys to track your cash number and your sales number, because it tends to be we hit higher sales numbers first, and we really do need to see that progress.
Yep, to anchor it in.
And then it's like 100 is 100. Let's just switch over to the other column, like the cash column.
Yep, exactly. That's literally what happened. I started tracking my sales, and then it just kind of kept going up and up and up and up. And then there were so many transactions, and I'm usually so good about my tracking, for my sales and my cash, but it was just such a fast month. And it's so crazy because even though energetically it was a fast month, you heard me in Voxer, I was pretty chill.
I know that's what has happened to me too. When I look back at my highest cash months, I was always real fucking chill. So let's take note on that one.
I wasn't even trying for it. I was like, okay, it might be another 70K month. And then all of a sudden I was like, Jocelyn, we just hit 107. What even happened? My mind is blown.
Yay. So good. So for anyone who does not yet know you in my world, could you just share with us a little bit about what you do? And let's just do your sun, moon, and rising again. So we have these kind of anchor points for who you are, what your vibe is.
Totally.
And your human design, because it's a big part of your work, of course.
100%. So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm a human design alignment, energetics, and business strategy coach. And gosh, the things I do in my world, I teach people to embody their human design on a whole new level, teach them powerful energetics, and really bring in business strategies that are super expansive that help people scale. It's like the trifecta of what I do within my life and my business. I love what I do so much. So I'm a 5/1 manifesting generator, sacral authority. So lots of fire, but also I'm a Leo sun, Scorpio moon, Sagittarius rising. So even more fire. And my whole brand, my whole life is just fun, fire, embodiment. We're skipping the intellectualization, and we're literally doing the things that change your life, because I find a lot of people overcomplicate strategy. They overcomplicate human design. They overcomplicate human or energetics. And so when you learn to be it, it actually changes your life. So that's what I'm all about. And my brand is called Aligned Ascension. So we're ascending, but we're doing it in an aligned way. And it's so in alignment with all the quantum leaps that are happening.
I know. I fucking love it. So let's talk about, because everyone can go listen to the prior episode for kind of everything that was going on before you came to me and yada, yada, yada. But let's talk about just this time in the last, between July and October, where we've now quantum leaped to the first 100K cash month. And kind of what do you feel like has been the big, because obviously, I know you so well because we're in Voxer every day vibing.
Totally.
But what do you feel like from your perspective have been the big the big shifts, the big energies cleared, maybe even strategic things? Like, what is it, do you feel that, or anything in our coaching, et cetera, has helped you get to this place? Because I feel like this is such a quote unquote, like kind of coveted number in the industry. And it's funny because like when you've done it or you've experienced it, you're just like, oh yeah, cool, no big deal. Like it's a huge fucking deal, but also like we worked up to it on purpose. So it's like, well, of course.
Yeah,
But I
totally.
love like showcasing the journey along the way, because it does, you know, we do have to actually walk a journey to get to, of course.
100,000%. And a huge thing for me, honestly, like it was, and I still work through this portal because the Leo son in me just loves the drama. But the huge portal that I really, really worked through over the last 3 months that you've really helped me embody and see is looping energy. Right. Where, and I've started talking about this within my content, because if you are looping on things, you are literally just like ignoring the evidence from the universe that things are going to be okay. And you saw this pattern within me, and I kept coming into Voxer at the beginning of every month, and it would be one of two things. It would be the energy of like, hey, Jocelyn, I don't know how I'm going to make money this month. And it was kind of just the energy of, I was like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to serve my people. Or it was the energy of just hitting a really high goal and then putting pressure on myself to hit that goal again, because I felt like this internalized, like I have a defined root center. So I was putting on my pressure on myself based on what I think other people's perception of me would be. And you were like, Christy, you're looping. You're okay every single month. Why are you doing this? And I was like, oh, why am I doing this? Because and that's something I really love about your coaching is it's no BS. Like you aren't going to cater to that. Oh, okay, here's what we're going to do to make money. Here's what we're going to do to serve the people. You're like, Christy, stop looping. You're fine every single month. And so I had to come to like this moment where I was like, I'm going to embody, this is something me and my partner Luke call it, mystic level chill, where I just chilled the fuck out and just went and did the month. And so the first, and this is the month that I hit my $100,000 month. At the beginning of the month, I didn't even notice it was the beginning of the month. I didn't even notice that energy of what are we going to do? It was just a continuation of what was happening the prior month. I was like, there's no restarting. There's no loss in momentum. There's no difference between the 1st and the 25th of the month. So I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going to keep serving my people. And I'm not going to make this a big emotional thing. And then all of a sudden quantum leap.
Totally. And this was literally like the first month that you were not freaking out at the top of the month.
And it makes sense. I'm like, oh, I was looping. And I had physical reality evidence, and our brains
so much too. Like
so much.
Because I feel like when we were in that phase when you were earlier, where I was like, okay, cool. Well, strategically, you're not actually set up for this. So let's first get that down, like structure and strategy wise in your business, like when you first came into Femmepire.
Yep.
So I feel like then, of course, there were the stories and the things we chatted about in our prior episode, but I do feel like at that stage, there was a lot more build into your business for this to even be possible.
Totally. Oh my gosh. And but based on seeing it, it solidified my energetics, but I solidified those beforehand with you. And we also created the structure and strategy of like, okay, we are going to sell multiple things at once. It is going to feel really light. And I'm going to be really tuned into what I'm genuinely excited about selling and serving with. And it amplified, but I did have the structure to hit $100,000 cash month.
And when we're talking about numbers like this, I know I talk about this all the time. Like you cannot hit these kind of numbers consistently without a business that is actually set up to hold it with ease.
Literally.
It's just not happening.
I so believe that because I was the person, I did a lot of strategy work in the beginning of my business, but like when I came into Femmepire, I was energetically there. I was energetically solid. Like, to be honest, I think my energy was tapping into $50,000 to $100,000 cash months, maybe even more. Energetically, I felt that, but in my 3D reality, I did not have the structure to support that, which caused me to be really ungrounded, right? And I was like, what am I doing?
And then we get really stressed out because we're like, I already feel like this should be happening. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
And then it gets really confusing, and then we can start tail spinning. But it's really important to look at like, okay, well, can you show yourself logically how this would happen over and over and over again? And we don't hold on to that all month, But if it's like, okay, cool, well, because the answer is that you need, I don't know, 10 clients, all paying you 10K cash. Well, like, that's not sustainable. Do you know what it like,
Totally.
meaning like, I don't know, private clients, whatever it is, as an example, we have to build it out in a sustainable way for it to stay, not just happen, but also stay consistent. And sometimes that's where the work is. And not just with you, but other clients I've had who've, you know, tapped into these numbers. You were one of a few from September, which is really fucking exciting. But there was always the build. I've never seen it any other way. And then also just this deepening of learning how to, because I feel like this is something we don't learn at earlier stages of business strategy, is it's like selling forward facing and also selling behind the scenes is just like fucking huge.
Yum. It's so huge. It's so, so huge. And there's always something on the back end of what I'm selling within my containers. And there's always a way I can do it, because there's nothing more annoying than being in a coaching container and being told, just hold the energy. I'm like, what? Like, I've held the energy.
Like in receiving coaching.
Yeah.
Well, it's also not an answer.
Totally. And I had been in so many containers where it's just like, hold the energy, picture it happening. And like, while that can be important, actually seeing how it can happen in a sustainable way and multiple ways is important, because like you said, 10 clients at 10K, while it could happen, there has to be other ways. There has to be other things going on. And the most important thing for me was not only selling multiple things at once, but having it feel light, right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that stressy, like, let's add something else. Let's add something else. It was like, no, this thing lights me up. This thing lights me up. This thing lights me up. And like, literally for my launch of which was a huge thing that I sold last month, I think I've got like 35 women in that immersion for gens and mani gens. And I am literally, every couple of days, I'm going to be in Voxer dropping a 10-minute transmission for them and 3 Q&As. And that was like a $65,000 launch. It's so light for me, and it's so beneficial for them. They're getting so much value. And it's like, I found that bridge between ease and lightness and value, because even though I'm a manifesting generator, it needs to be light and easy, because, you know, even behind the scenes, I'm doing a lot of other things like healing my body, focusing on my relationship. Like, this is not just business.
No, and it never just is. And none of us are out here to just have our whole life, like it's a big part of our life. Our businesses are our babies, they're our life purpose. But to me, it's like, what's the point if you can't actually live? Then like, what are you standing for? Well, we're all preaching freedom and ease and whatever it is on the internet. And then what? You're like golden handcuffs to your business. Like, literally, fuck that. And I know it's something that we talked about too. And I feel like this has been a deeper portal for you of late, is, you know, something I say, or I know I've said to you, I haven't really been talking about it that much on the internet, but here, everybody can hear it now, is like, it's like, people aren't just paying for what we say in our marketing, right? They're not just paying to have their fucking questions answered. They're not just paying to listen to a module. They're paying for the embodiment of what we bring. That's just who we are. And so in my mind, the way that I've always thought about it is like, all right, cool. It's not just about like having Jocelyn answer these certain questions. It's like the reason you told me you came into Femmepire, you were like, I want to have the ease that she has with money. Period. Yep. The end.
Yep. Period. The end. There was nothing else.
Period. The end. So like, how are we doing that? Right. And then of course you come into coaching and there's like all these different ways of how we get there, energetically, strategically, et cetera, working through our own bullshit, because, you know, we all have it.
Yep.
But it's like, yeah, like to me, something that's been important is not just being like, okay, cool, come vibe out on money ladies on the internet. But it's like, when you come into my world, you get the behind the scenes view of how I'm actually having the business be easy, of how I'm actually having money be easy. It's not just like, oh, I don't know, it's just easy. It's like, no, like you get to feel my embodiment, but then also I'm showing you like how I got to the place for it to be embodied.
Oh, 100,000%. And that's a huge reason. Like, I re-signed into Femmepire. I didn't just sign into Femmepire, I re-signed. And I'm going to continue on this journey with you, because it's the energy of you really do bring that embodiment. I don't care about your answer to my question. I care about why. and I care about your beingness, and I care about your perspective on that question. Because if I'm there just to ask a question, then I'm just going to be like, talk to Jocelyn all day, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm there to understand how you think about these things. And then there's a lot of things that I don't even need to bring to you, because it's like, I understand the methodology. I understand the ease behind the scenes. I understand the implementation of being in that queen energy within your business. So it's like, I just move on it, because I'm going deeper than just asking the question. I'm going into, why does Jocelyn think this way? How does Jocelyn embody this? And then I'm going out and living that.
Yeah. And I fucking love it. And I feel like that's where so many of the quantum leaps come in. It's not just doing the thing. It's to your question. I mean, you always ask such smart questions, because you're not just like, what's the answer to this?
Yeah.
You're like, why is this coming up? Like, you always want to understand the broader context around things.
I so do.
Or if I'm like doing something in my business, it's like, why,
100%.
or not doing it, or how I made the transition, or how I made the leap, or whatever it is, because our beings and our businesses are just such deeply moving energies. And I think this is what people forget. They think they're going to get their business to this place where it's like static and somehow everything just works. And I'm like, not how it works. It's kind of always moving. And so there really is always something to learn and deepen. And it doesn't have to be, are there phases where we're all kind of tired, or we go through these portals? Fuck yes. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, obviously. However, they don't have to be a long time. And when you have this kind of broader context of what's happening around you and why, and where you're being asked to deepen, instead of just asking a question for a singular answer, I feel like that's what creates these shifts where things start landing a lot faster. And then they become actually embodied. So you're not just asking a different version of the same question every day for 6 months,
Yeah, 100,000%. And and you really, that when somebody asks the same question over and over again, you're like, hey, this is looping. There's no answer that I can give you. You need to decide. Right. And in those moments, I'm like, oh, you are so right. But some of the bigger pieces of embodiment is like, these are living, breathing things. We are living, breathing things. And so there has to be this constant ability to tune into what's aligned now, and not go into a space of shoulds or have tos based on what you've done before, right? And that's something I'm constantly looking at with you, is how do I bring a deeper level of ease to the business? How do I bring a deeper level of embodiment? And that's something that sometimes is scary to step into. Like even our most recent conversations, when you check Voxer, I'm like in there celebrating, stepping through some big portals, because it's the energy of constantly evolving, constantly pivoting. You aren't just going to keep hitting these numbers from a static place. There's an evolution. It's going to be different every month. What's in tune for you, your new standards, your new boundaries, like to be able to be a natural energetic match for more and more money, more and more expansion, more and more clients, more and more impact, you have to be pivoting and adjusting.
Truly. I mean, and it doesn't stop, but it gets easier.
Does.
Your foundation gets stronger. Like, there's a lot of momentum that's just already there. You're not having to build so much momentum, because I feel like at first it's like, okay, we got to build the momentum, right? But then there's a lot, you learn how to just have momentum naturally be, and then you add to that, right? We're stacking reoccurring income. I know something that this usually happens for most people coming in my world who are desiring to get to bigger numbers. I'm like, okay, cool. They think that I'm like, no, it's not like a launch to launch thing where like all of a sudden you just have 100K launch. It can happen like that. But then what tends to happen after is this big drop, because it was all based on one launch or like one offer. And I'm like, it's just so tiring. Like, that's not what we want to be doing. We want to figure out like our cadence for what we sell, how we sell it, our price points, what's rolling, what's not, the client pathway, all these things, which is obviously why you want to be in like mastermind, private coaching, etc., because also everybody's business is a little bit different. And it does, to me, it seems like it can feel like a complex ecosystem when you don't have the appropriate coaching to get there. Like, this is not something you just fucking figure out.
No, it's simple, but it's something that I would not have been able to figure out if I didn't have the eyes on my business. And now it's just one of those things where it's like, I get it. Right. And so I have so much passive and reoccurring income happening within my business. And also I'm building more behind the scenes. Like there is so many things happening right now behind the scenes while I live launch. And that's something that you guys, like people on the internet, people can't see what I'm doing behind the scenes. They can't see the podcast episodes being recorded, the passive courses that are being made. They can't see the upselling from one program into another to benefit people more. And so it's like, you can't emulate this unless you're in a high level space with somebody who understands income stacking and what's on the back end of these offers and how to actually build like the passive income streams to where you aren't moving launch to launch to launch, because that's honestly, it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. It's so tiring. And that was the original model of coaching that everybody learned.
Yep.
And then they're
100%.
like, why is it taking so long? Or why does it take 7 years to have my first 100K month?
Oh my God, 100%. And it's crazy because it's like also the energy of people. What I've been seeing within my coaching is a lot of people who come into my world don't know how to make it feel light in terms of launching multiple things. And a lot of people are taught only launch one thing at a time. Well, that doesn't actually make sense in terms of the clinginess around the offer, in terms of like scaling, expanding. And I see so many people doing this where they're like, I'm going to launch this program this month and this program this month and this program this month, and there's nothing else going on. And then they're like stuck at 10K months. That used to be me.
And then what about all the people who just aren't interested in that offer? They need to wait a full 30 days for you to offer them something that they want. It's just so slow.
Totally. Yeah, no, 100%. It's so fun because it's like, this is something I tell my clients now that I've really embodied this, is like, when you go to Target, you're not upset because there's shirts there and you don't want shirts. And you know the difference between a shirt, a jacket, and pants. Your people know the difference between these offers. So sell them all at the same time, have varying launch start dates. And then all of a sudden there's this like repeatability and there's this scalability, and people can self-select themselves into things, ask the questions, and get themselves into the right container for them without having to wait.
Yeah. And it's like, let's not assume people are stupid and don't understand what you're talking about.
They get it. They get
or like
it.
Can't ask a question. They get it.
Right. And that comes with go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was just going to say, I love this and the way you've been doing it. Because I remember there were even some points where you're like, why does it feel sick? Why does it feel sick? I'm like, you have all your energy around one thing. It's like you forgot for a second.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even knowing this, like we can forget for a second. And then it's like, and even within like my quote unquote generator lulls, it's like, as soon as I like pop into Voxer, talk to you about it, give myself a day, all of a sudden there's fire, there's energy, and there's things that I want to do to get me out of that like launch to launch mentality where it's just like, and this is one of the things that really is important for my first 100K month and a frequency that I've been tapping into is like, we're playing the long game now. It doesn't matter what this month looks like. It matters what my impact on the planet looks like. It matters that I've literally healed generational trauma. It matters that I'm literally recoding wealth consciousness within my family and within my friend group and within all of these different pieces. And that long-term outlook, it's like, okay, yeah, I can tap into these questions. Yeah, I can move through these different portals. Yeah, I can get less clingy about an offer. But when I'm tapped into where I'm going, it's so big that these details it's all adding up.
Totally. Well, and it puts you in this place of like embodied surrender that I like to talk about, because if it's already certain for you, then you technically don't really care when, because you already know that it's happening. So then it happens faster because you're not obsessing about it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, exactly. And that's something I've been playing with. I love how you call it embodied surrender. I call it lottery energy, where I'm just like, might as well go big. Might as well set the goal for my paid masterclass to be 100 people. If I hit it, amazing. If I don't hit it, I don't care. I'm not clingy about it because I know that's where I'm going.
Right. And so now there's so much space for many and clients to come through because we're not like filling that doorway with like desperation, scarcity, and panting.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like so deeply connected to this bigger mission and this bigger vision that I like no, I'm not going there.
And it's just so tiring and it's not sustainable. And we've just got to learn a new way. And part of it is just learning how to do business a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Because
it's like so liberating.
It's so liberating, and it gets to support your life. Like that's something that I'm learning on a deeper level is like the business gets to run and there's momentum behind the scenes, and I get to take days off and do nothing on my Instagram stories and totally be fine and still have people coming into my world because the momentum exists behind the scenes, and I get to focus on my relationship and my health and sauna most days and take time to cook meals. And I'm like, there's such an embodiment to this piece of like, your business is just, it's a piece and it's running and it gets to be good. And it doesn't have to be, you know?
I know. You know, I'm always like, let's drop the panting, not magnetic.
Not magnetic.
Not hot.
I feel that. That's so funny. Yes. No, it's not.
But this is my whole thing with Fempire. I'm like, we're going to get there with the leading energy of ease. And like, I mean it. You know, I remember one of my coaches, I was probably at like 50K months at the time. She was like, Jocelyn, you're one of the only people I've ever met who doesn't want to like burn their business down and isn't having like a complete breakdown behind the scenes. And she was like very far along at the time. You know, she had clients having 6-figure months and stuff. I was like, really? Like, I didn't even know that it was, because I've always been this way. I'm like, this shit's got to be easier. Like, why the fuck am I doing it? Like, I chose the business. I chose this life. Why would I choose for it to be hard? Like, I'm just not doing that. And of course, it's gotten easier over time, and I've learned more and I've grown more. And like, of course, there's still initiations, portals, etc. But it's just something like, it's not like a marketing thing for me. It's like really something I like deeply stand for and have always valued, even before I was talking about it on the internet.
Oh, 100%. And here's the thing, like, you and I were in a previous mastermind together, and I heard you talk about wealth and talk about the way you felt about money. I was like, I'm going to hire her. I had the knowing, right? And that's honestly shocking to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people behind the scenes that are freaking out and just don't feel good at these levels. And obviously, yes, what you're talking about, some of these portals are not quote unquote easy, but you can approach them with ease. And even like when I look at the level of ease that I experienced in my $100,000 month last month, it was easier than some of my 5K months at the beginning of my business. And
my biggest months are always the easiest.
Yeah.
It's
and
really
it's like,
crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy because the version of me making 5K a month, she really doesn't believe that 100K months can be easier, but it's like you tap into a whole new reality. It's like you timeline hop and then you're like, no, this just is. And that's the thing about like even hitting 100K. Like, I haven't even really done the celebration for it. Me and Luke are definitely going to go out and do that, but I just knew, you know? So it's like, okay, this is amazing. And obviously I knew I was going to be here. I've held this energy for so long that it's like, yay, amazing. And this was obvious. This was going to happen.
Yeah. And there were steps. So obviously there was the huge quantum leap from like 20K cash to, was it 50K cash after 20?
Yep. 20 to 50 to 70.
To 100, right? And so it's 20, 50, 70, 100. Then it was like 130 days. And then it was 100 in a calendar month.
Yep, exactly. It was 130 days and then 100 in a calendar month.
It just feels so good. And I'm just obsessed with the energy of money. And it's like something I love to, and I feel like you've really embodied this now, but we were more focused on it. And now we're kind of doing different things. When you first came into the mastermind, it was like, how to even create this momentum with money, not just in how you're thinking and feeling about it, but it's like, even and just like the way we're tracking it, the way we're thinking about how it comes into the business, the way we're feeling about payment plans, the way we're feeling about offer stacking, like I just love, I love money, and like the nuances of building it and scaling it are just so interesting to me.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And yeah, I've embodied money energetics on a whole nother level, but it's like there's so much within the feminine masculine dynamic within money. There's also the aspects of like logically seeing it and logically tracking and being intimate within your money. It's also the energy of seeing how it could happen. It's the small offers, it's the big offers, it's the high ticket, it's the low ticket, it's all of these different things. There's the removal of the reset energy from the 1st to the 30th, or the 30th to the 1st. Like, there's so many different aspects, but one of the biggest things that I wanted to embody is money wasn't something that I was trying for, right? Because it had always been something I like wanted and was trying for. I want money to feel like breathing air. There's just an isness to it. And that's one of the codes that I'm really embodying within the mastermind and speaking with you and just in my own practices day to day is like, there's an isness to it. And if I don't make money for a few days, whatever. Like, it's okay. It's like, I know it's going to come. And from that knowingness, each month doesn't need to look the same. And then months blow my freaking mind.
And then it's like, and then too, it's like, okay, I need to come in for a few days. All right, cool. Well, universe, I would like to increase my recurring payments. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just get there. I mean, I just remember making decisions around, I get paid every single day. You know what I mean? Like that was a big, like I've had a few this year, which was like, I was playing even more than playing with my months. I've been playing with like the amount of money in my accounts or getting paid every day. Cause I'm such a big proponent of like the sustainable, like I'm not really the girl who's just likes to be like, I made $60,000 today. And then 2 weeks in the month, I made nothing. That to me is like roller coaster for the nervous system.
Yeah, 100%.
I would way prefer. Yeah, I love the income pops. That's so fucking fun. But I also just like seeing the sustainability is way more of my way than being like the person who's like, I'm just here to pull money out of thin air. I'm like, well, and then what happens to you on the back end of that?
Totally. And that's something that I've seen a lot just
Most
happening.
Businesses.
Yeah. It's wild because we can celebrate $100,000 month. We can celebrate a $50,000, $30,000, $200,000 month. But do you have the sustainability in there to continue to scale to that level? Or did you just sell so much that you're going to be burning yourself out over the next 2 months, delivering all of the income that you just made?
Or like, did you just happen to have a few high paying private clients drop in?
Right. Yes.
But
totally.
Maybe that's not happening every single month,
Yes, 100%. And that's both of those things. It's like, we got to bring in that balance of, is there multiple ways for you to hit that income? And also, are you creating that income in a sustainable, ease-filled way where it's easy to deliver on those things, and also massively transformative for your clients? Because over delivering and quote unquote overselling, if your business isn't structured in a way where there's ease on the back end and you oversell yourself or you overdo how much you're delivering, you're going to be burnt out and you're going to see those dips in your income and then those highs and then those lows.
And it's so tiring. And also it's just our nervous systems have had hard enough time. Let's not make the business feel like another area of roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I'm really embodying, is like deeper levels of nervous system regulation within all of these pieces. Because it's funny because there's this energy of like, you are navigating the unknown every month within your business, but there's also the element of, I've got the structure in place. So like, I'm ready for however this is going to happen.
Yeah. And I trust myself. I think this is something that comes up a lot, is like lack of self-trust.
Yes. I trust myself. I love that. 100%. That's so huge because like, no matter what's happening, you've got it.
Yeah. And it's like, there's so much evidence to show you've got it. And it's also very normal to sometimes forget our own evidence, because our mind can tell some big stories and we start freaking out. And then it's like, hey, it's just so helpful to have someone be like, hey, remember how last month you made $70,000? Remember how last month you also freaked out, you made $50,000? Remember how there was no one in the program, and then we just switched up to your messaging and all of a sudden there were 1 million people in the program?
Literally. Literally. And I like, sometimes it's like, this moment, the stories of the ego and the stories of the mind feel so real in this moment that like, oh my gosh, it's not working, or whatever those stories are. And having somebody who knows you, who has eyes on your business, who's like, hey, you did this last month too. That's so helpful, because you've seen this over and over again. As soon as you are like, Christy, you're looping, I'm like, done. I'm done. Cut out. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm done with this pattern. Like, my fire is like, absolutely not.
Do not have time. Opt out, unsubscribe, delete. Well, because now we've had enough time together for you to understand the loop. So now if you hear like, oh, it's a loop, because in the beginning you had to learn what it was, right?
Oh, I did.
I don't just like, if someone's new, I'm not just like, oh, you're looping, whatever, you're fine. It's like, okay, yeah, well, let's get into it. But then now every time it comes up again, we can be like, oh, there's the loop. There's the mind's lie. This isn't real.
And, that's why I love short coaching containers, like those 3-month,
like fun and zippy. Yeah.
Zippy and fiery. But I'm like, I want that long-term relationship with somebody who is embodied in the energy I want to be in, which is, for you, it's fucking queen. It's fucking ease. And I'm like, yes, Jocelyn. And so that's why I'm in your space. But I've been in your space long enough for you to know me, for you to know my patterns, for you to know the things that scare me. And from that energy, it's like you are the person who's already walked through those portals. And so you are able to bring in, Christy, you're looping. And I'm like, perfect, done, unsubscribe, right? But you wouldn't be able to do that if I had just signed into a 1-month coaching container with you. You wouldn't know if it was a loop or if it was like a genuine new thing or a new fear coming up.
Yeah. And I love the short zippy containers too. And I offer them, or sometimes it's just one area of business we want to dive into, et cetera. But there's a reason that Fempire is 6 or 12 months. There's a reason that you signed on for 12 months. I don't even think you were done with 3 months yet. And you were like, I'm here for the long haul.
Totally. Yeah. 3 months in, you're like, hey ladies, you can resign. And I was like, done, pay in full. Like I'm in for another 6 months. And I love the short zippy containers too. And I feel like those supplemented with these longer term coaching containers, like they're like, I'll sign into short zippy containers for a specific purpose, but like for this longer term, higher scaling, I want somebody who understands me.
Totally. I mean, you cannot replace someone who deeply knows you, who gets you energetically, and who also understands your business.
Yeah.
And obviously that takes time. It doesn't have to take a long time. You have to be. And I was going to ask you this question too. Now, I don't know like your longest containers before, but now having, committed yourself for a year, and there's another client, Elise Basine, who's also going to be on the show around the same time, who just had her first 100K sales month. And she's I know, so exciting. She was one of my first clients in 2019. Like,
wow.
Of course she's been doing other things too, but she's literally consistently been in my world for 2 years.
I love that. That's incredible.
And I'm like, of course she's here,
Yeah. 100%.
And she like has another coach and does like, healing and like, all the other things we do, learn something specific, like you get a code, this person is this read, that person is that medicine for you. But it's just like this willingness to play the long game. The women who I see, and myself too, is it any big shocker that when I really started sustaining 100K months, I was also invested for a year. Like I will invest in shorter things like you said, for something specific, but they're always on top of an investment. I literally do not have investments that are under a year now.
Yes. I feel that so deeply. And, I've kind of always been this way. Like there was a little bit of coach hopping in the beginning when I was like a virtual assistant and all of those things. And then I actually started this business. When I started this, I don't think I've been in a coaching container less than like, I've done the supplemental ones of like 1 month and whatever, but I've always had a long-term coach behind the scenes, always.
Yeah.
And it's not even the energy of like, you have to do that in order to scale, but it's just like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you, have somebody behind the scenes who knows you, and to also say to the universe, like, hey, I'm in this for the long run. I'm connected to a vision that is so much more than just today. I know where I'm going. So I'm going to invest from the place of where I'm going. I'm going to trust that even in a year, this is still going to be happening. And that was what I said, even within investing in you after 3 months and going, hey, not only are we finishing the next 3 months together because I signed in for 6 months, I want another 6 months. It was me going all in on myself and going, you know what? I truly have no idea where I'm going to be in 12 months from now, but I do know it's going to be big. And that was my declaration.
And that's all we need to know. And of course, like we're doing this from a place of alignment. You don't need to like stay on with someone for 12 months just because you're already working with them. Like
yeah,
the energetic resonance has to be there. But it's like, once you feel that pull, just like, to anyone who's listening, like, don't be scared to go, because it opens up your energy in a completely different way to invest for the long term, and to also just have a home. Like, talk about nervous system regulation. Do you know how much more relaxing it is to know that you like just have a home, a space to plug into, the person knows you, you vibe with the sisterhood. And it's like, we're not like, what's my next investment? What am I doing next? Like panting energy.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
Exactly. I hate that energy. Like I always do that in our Voxer chat. I'm like, it's so funny, but totally. It's like, you are so embodied in the things that I want to be embodied in. I continue to see you grow. There's a deep energetic resonance. I'm like, this is an aligned move for me, right? And I'm making those aligned moves from the energy of like, what is my authority saying? Because I'm a sacral authority. I tune into my authority and I move with that. And every single move that I make from my authority it works, right? And it may not work the exact way I imagined it worked. Sometimes it works better. Hashtag what's happening now. But it's just, you move with that energetic resonance because they're helping you remember a piece of yourself. And that's something you really do within this mastermind, is you help me remember. Like, I was really in maiden energy when I came into the mastermind. I was very in that, like, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. And now I'm just like, queen. That's what I have time for.
Literally. And that's so funny because I think, like, you know, sometimes we can hear that word and sort of like take it in a frivolous way. And I'm like, no, I mean it in like a serious way, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. That was the theme of my last photo shoot because I stepped into that energy. But queen energy is a deep knowingness and trust of self. It is the complete intolerance for frantic, panicky energy. It's an intolerance for like the energy of like, this isn't working and it's all going to collapse. Do we have thoughts? Yes. But the queen just like, she takes herself back to the energy of being plugged into where she knows she's going and she is solid there. That's the energy of queen. And I honestly did not like that word until I met you. I was like, ew, don't call me queen.
Well,
and I don't know why. I just didn't like the word. And now I'm just like fully in that energy of, there's a power behind it. There's a solidity behind it. There's a self-trust. There's a self-knowingness. There's an, I'm going to be okay no matter what. I can handle it energy behind queen.
And like, I'm running a fucking empire. So like, we're going to come from that place, you know? And I think I know something we talked about is like this legacy energy hits very differently. Christy. Okay, we just had a little snafu. So what I was saying about this queen energy too is it's like, it's this real deep embodiment, and something else I'd want to chat with you about is this legacy energy of like, I'm running a fucking empire and I'm going to act like it.
100%. Yeah.
It's a very different frequency than like, I don't know, I'm just running a business. Like, you're running a fucking empire. You're running a fucking legacy. We need to show up like it.
Right. And there's bigger problems when you tap into like legacy energy. It's not the problem of like, how am I going to make money? It's the
This
problem.
month.
Yeah, this month. It's like the problem of, how do I reach more people with my message and change the world? That's the different problem, you know? And that legacy energy, it pulls that through you. So if you're doing things in your business that you don't like, out of shoulds, out of have tos, that's going to clear up with legacy energy because there's no availability for that. There's the availability for, I'm here to complete my life's purpose and my life's mission. And also I'm here to have fun. I'm here to live, right? And legacy energy, it just doesn't have the same problems of how many people are going to be in my container. Oh my gosh, there's only this many people in my container. It's tapped into where you're going, not just where you're at.
And it's also like, what's good for me, just like the queen does. I watch so many period piece movies and television shows, and you see it over and over, right? It's like, what's good for me, what's good for the people, what's good for the empire. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, what's good for you, what's good for your clients, what's good for the business, build it.
Totally. Yes, exactly.
That's not like, what's convenient right now? How do I feel this morning? Like, not because we don't care how you feel. Obviously, the vibe is leading energy of ease. We're going to take care of ourselves. But it's like the energy we put into the business, we want to be that long-term energy, not like getting all wow. You know, like how I always talk about, like, we can be in our healing and we can have a big business, right? We can be clearing our trauma and we can have a big business. We can be doing all sorts of things in our personal life and still have a big business. And it's not like weaving together whatever is going on so much with us, you know, on a day-to-day basis. You know, sometimes we're looping, sometimes we have little scarcity thoughts, whatever. We don't need to weave it so much into how the business is functioning. And I feel like that's a much higher level of self-leadership than what most people exhibit.
There's such a high level of self-leadership there. And 100%, there's a difference between ease and easy. Every day is not easy in my business, but I am tapped into ease. And there's also the energy of honor yourself, honor your body, honor your quote unquote generator lulls if you're a generator, honor those moments of pullback. But also there's a dedication that comes through. And I'm dedicated to this. Am I forcing and pushing behind the scenes? No, there's a difference between forcing and pushing and dedication. But that dedication does come through.
Well, to me, it's this energy of like, I can't not, you know what I mean? Like, what, like, there's just no option for this not to be what I desire for it to be, for it not to have the love impact it's here to have. Like, I was literally born for this, you know, and of course, like all the juicy, yummy pleasure things I also talk about, like inside our personal lives, how we were talking about in the beginning of the show. It's like, yeah, we get to have it all. But it's like, in terms of like purpose on the planet, in terms of like my reason for being here, that's kind of just like separate from, you know, what I meant to experience for myself in my personal life. Like, this is it. This is
Yes.
literally what I was born for.
100%. And I've had that feeling come up a few times as I've been on my path and hit these new income goals and hit these levels of just like my entire Voxer chats popping off with people like, thank you, Christy. Oh my gosh, this changed my life. Oh my gosh, I just manifested $100,000. Oh my gosh, I just manifested 20,000. Oh my gosh, I just signed a new client. Oh my gosh, my launch just sold out. And I've had a lot of these moments where I'm like, this is why I'm here, but it hit different when I hit $100,000. And it wasn't just $100,000. I hit $100,000, had like 10 testimonials come in that day, just from the people I'm working with now. And I had this moment of like, oh my gosh, this is the self-actualization. Every single thing I've experienced up until this point led me to this moment. And this moment, like I remember being in the car with Luke and I was crying and I was just like, it's not even that I made it, quote unquote, made it. It was just like, this is me living my life purpose right now. And my guides and my ancestors are so proud. And I felt that clicking moment. And it was so much for me.
Totally. I love those moments. And it's just so worth it to walk through all the annoying phases. And this is why it's so important to have this high level support in addition to everything else we're doing. Like we said, invest in all the programs, do all the things, and have long-term support. It's not like you don't choose one or the other, you just do both.
Yeah, exactly.
And to have that space, because there's just so many times, like, and I can think back to them too, where I walk through big portals, you know, like I've always said, yeah, leading energy of ease, but like to get it, you know, Juanita, who's also in Femmepire, once said that she heard me say the ease is earned. And I'm like, yeah, it fucking is. You know, because you have to walk through all the shit that's not easy to get to ease so that you can embody ease. But it's like, we actually traverse it to get there. It's not, it doesn't just drop out of the sky.
No, it's a way of being, and it's a practiced way of being. It's not just like, oh, everything's easy. It's like, things are still going to come up. Can you tap into the frequency of ease as those things come up? It is earned and it is practiced.
Yeah. And it's not earned from a place of like, some people deserve it, some people don't. It's literally like, some people just put in the work to have the ease and some don't. So it's like, we can't wish for the results of people doing work we didn't do, making investments we didn't make, going all in ways we haven't. Like, that's just the truth of the game.
Totally. Even regulating our nervous systems the way that other people haven't, right? That's
and like prioritizing it. I'm always like, put yourself first.
100%. Yeah.
If you don't, you will collapse under this. Like, it's
just... Oh my gosh. Yes, you will. You will.
You literally will. And so the last piece I wanted to ask you about, because I feel like this has been huge, and I know we were talking about it a little in the DMs, was this identity shifting piece. And it's funny because Elise and I recorded her episode and we talked about it with her too. And I feel like it's also happened for you. It's happened for me in different phases, where it's like, just being able to see yourself as this person who even can do this.
Ooh, that is a question.
You know, or like, oh, I'm the woman who actually earns at this income. Not, oh, it just happened to me, it just happened in this business, but like, I'm like that woman.
You know, and I had a really powerful moment of this, because I have always kind of been relatable, quote unquote, with like my friend groups and all of these things. And I remember actually having a conversation with one of my friends, and he was talking about Christy level money. I don't remember how,
like, what?
I don't remember how the conversation came up, and we were talking about next level expansion. And he was talking about how we had done a full moon ritual, all of our friend group. And I remember like months ago saying, I will be the person who earns $200,000 cash in their business every month and impacts millions of people. And he was like, you're on the path of that. And I said, yes, I am. And he was like, whoa, like confidence. And I was like, yep, there was no, like I had shifted from this version of myself that would be like, oh, I hope it happens, or, oh, it's hard, into the version of myself that's like, yes, that is happening, and that was a huge identity shift for me, because I no longer care about being relatable. I no longer care what people think in terms of how much I am earning or how much impact I have, or me being timid, or that version of myself that's like, oh, maybe, because I used to be that version that's like, oh, I might be able to do it. It looks like it's going to be a whatever month. Oh my gosh, maybe, people pleasing, that kind of version. And now there's just such a solidity of like, I own who I am. I own my place. I own who I am, and the impact that I make just from my beingness. There's no question anymore, and
Totally. I mean, it's so interesting to me, especially people who know me, but don't know me in the context of my business. And they hear me talk about, I don't know, money or whatever, just things in general. And they haven't been listening to my content. And I'm like, yeah, I just like believe that I'm a rich woman.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I believe that now. And it's a whole new identity, because it's like, I feel so self-actualized, and it's not just even about the money. It's about money. Of course, we love money.
Money's a byproduct of it, really.
Yeah, it's us being in massive impact. And like, you don't make this level of money from the energy of like, I don't know if it's good enough. I don't know if I'm good enough. You decide, you self-anoint, you put the crown on your own head, and you're like, I am going to be this person. Am I still the piece of me that's a year ago looking at me now going, girl, you're 27 years old and you just had your first $100,000 cash month. Girl, you're 27 years old and you are taking care of your body and have the most beautiful soul aligned relationship. Do you think you can hold this? And I'm like, yeah, this is just how it is. This is who I am.
Yeah. Well, it's this, we get to have it all. And also, I would feel like this has been a major portal for you inside the time I've known you. I do not think you felt this way, just for perspective for everybody else in the beginning.
Nope. Absolutely not.
You wanted it, but it was not solid like this. So I also, like, you wanted it though. You were decided on like big impacts, but I feel like you're way more solid now.
Oh yeah, way more solid. And it's crazy because even the version of me 6 months ago is like, what even is this level of power? I didn't think that I was capable of being so deeply in my self-belief like this.
Yeah. And I just fucking love to see it, because it's like, yeah, we love the big sexy numbers, but it's like, we have to get into, I always say money's drawn to power like a moth to a flame.
Yes, it's so true.
And now that you've walked it out, you see how true it is.
It is so true. It is so true. And power is not feeling good all the time. It's not this energy. It's I'm solid no matter what. I'm solid about having a good day, a bad day. I'm solid in my vision. I'm solid in money looking like it's flowing. I'm solid in the moments where I'm in a gap. I'm solid. I'm
just fucking solid. And you can be, you know how I call it, under the trauma cloud, and be like, well, what the fuck ever. I'm going to lay down then, or go for a walk, or watch Netflix, get in the sauna, or work out, whatever. And I'm not going to drop into scarcity around my business, because I'm just a fucking bad bitch. And tomorrow I'll send my shit and people sign up and I'm good.
Exactly.
Like, and we don't need to like, because you know how we'll be like, yes, I'm going to embody ease. And then we bring scarcity to what we're supposed to be doing to embody the ease. And like, that's not power.
Yeah, exactly. And taking from me, like, I've been doing the deepest trauma healing, the deepest healing around like my family and just things like that in my life right now. Like, I'm not just on hold, like focusing on my business. I'm doing deep healing behind the scenes. Not every day is sunshine and roses. I just finished a 29-day juice cleanse that cut into the month of September, where I only drank juice for 29 days and was cleansing my body. These are not easy things. And to do that on top of having this business, like it's not all the business. There is money and healing. It's simultaneous.
It always is. And we walk that in parallel. And this is why I'm always like, everyone stop trying to like heal your way into a perfect business without actually walking out the business. Like, it's amazing that business is such a deep personal development journey, but we walk things out together, right? You don't need to wait until you're in this perfect state of whatever, of health for you to make money. It's like, oh, I get to walk them out together. Oh, and isn't it amazing that I can finance whatever I desire to support my body while I'm going through this because I have a successful business. Oh, isn't it amazing? I can build a successful business that's sustainable for my energy. So I'm not like having meltdowns, you know, which obviously sends your body into a tailspin. Like it just all gets to flow together in this beautiful ecosystem. And I feel like this is part of the queen energy, is being a woman who can even manage an ecosystem.
Yep. Because you are managing an ecosystem when you're doing all of these different pieces.
It's so true. So I just love this. And it's amazing because now let's see, you've been in my world for 6 months and so much has changed. And I also feel like it's been like a little drop in the bucket.
It's been a little drop in the bucket compared to where we're going.
100%. Like a year from now, we don't even know.
Yep. I'll be back on the podcast. See you then.
You're like, I'll be back having 500,000 months. Don't worry about me. Talk to you soon.
Totally. That's how I feel.
I love it. That's how I want you to feel in my world.
I love it. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Because I love these pieces around like the identity shifting, the self-actualization, the being queen, the having a business that can actually hold this much money, the actually what it takes to get to the place of ease. It doesn't just drop out of the sky. I mean, I just feel like these are like the concepts that people really need to understand who are desiring to like get to these, you know, places of, you know, these large of numbers.
They so are. And they're all such an important piece. Like, it's not just energy. It's not just strategy. It's not just like, for me, human design embodiment. It's not just the pieces of like, can I scale this? Like it's all of it's the healing. It's all of it. Totally.
So is there anything else that you would like to share that I didn't ask you about?
Just that I love you, love being in your world. I'm really, really excited about all the things upcoming, and just like really excited about the nervous system regulation behind the scenes. Like, I'm just in a space where it doesn't matter what happens, I'm going to be good. And that feels really, really good. And that feels really, really solid. And just tapping into all areas of my life, I'm like, it is so aligned. It's so aligned. It's so aligned.
It's so worth it to get there. Oh, here's a question I had to ask about Femmepire, because obviously, you know, you were part of my inaugural rounds of women, just about your experiences. I just feel like it attracts the most like special women who I like love being around. And I think you guys all love being around each other too. And I wanted to see if there's anything you want to share kind of about, obviously there's like the deep coaching for me and our guest experts and all the yummy stuff, but about like the sisterhood and how that's been helpful to you.
The sisterhood is super helpful. And I'm one of those people, I'm really in the implementation. So I'm in the sisterhood, but I'm also there for you. Right. And so having all of these different women in there who are really, really, they're just beautiful. They're all doing different things, and literally listening to the portals that they're working through helps me. So sometimes I'm like in there listening to the conversation that you're having with someone else, and I'm like, ooh, that's going to inspire me to raise my rates, or ooh, that inspired a different level of how I'm going to have this conversation. And it's like, we all ask questions that are activating for each other, because we're all going through different experiences, but we're all going to the same place, right? In different ways. So we have different businesses, we help different people, but we're all working through portals that benefit each other. And so I love that aspect of like, not even knowing I had a question, or not even knowing that I wanted to understand a deeper energetic code around something, and then having one of my mastermind sisters ask, and I'm like, yum, yes, implementing on that now, done.
I just love that piece, because sometimes when I participate in masterminds too, I don't even listen to the person's question. I just listen to my mentor's answer.
Same. Yeah, I'm the same way.
When I'm busy, I just like, because it's like you get answers to questions you didn't even know you had. I love it. And it just feels like even more supportive coaching. But that's what I do when I'm busy.
Yep. I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm a manifesting generator. Listen on 4x speed and on to the next.
Literally.
So funny. I know.
And so walking down the street and Voxer messages of people look at me, because I'll have everything on like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, okay. And people are looking like, what is this woman doing? Like, because they don't realize I'm not on the phone. Like, who is she talking to who's talking that fast?
So funny. I'm always like around Luke when I'm listening to your Voxers, and they're like at 4x speed. He's like, you can hear that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that gives me a headache. I'm like, that's just how fast I move.
I know. And then you're like, landed, XOXO, you know?
Yep, exactly. It's so funny.
I'm the same way. That's so good.
I love it.
Oh, okay, Christy. Well, for anyone who would like to get in touch with you, what are the best ways to do so?
So definitely come follow me on Instagram. That is the space where you can like literally tune in with my stories with me, hang out with me. And I just bring such powerful codes through my stories, through my content. It's at Christy Avis. Watch out for the spelling because there's a bunch of imposter accounts, but us being in Queen Energy, we don't care. We move on. Can't impersonate me. So it's CHRISTYAVIS. And so that's an incredible place to connect with me, to find out more about my offers, how you can come and embody your human design on deeper levels, tune into the energy of money, all of the things. And I also have a free Facebook group at Line Dissension for Spiritual Entrepreneurs. And there are so many free trainings in there for you to embody your human design, to step into next level strategies. There's 6-figure energetics trainings. There's so much that you can tune into for free. It's freaking incredible, and stay up to date on all of the things that I am offering in my world, because Jocelyn can attest to this. My offers are incredible.
Hot as fuck.
Yay.
Your podcast?
Oh yeah, I have everybody, I have a podcast as well. It's called A Line Dissension. Jocelyn knows better than me. She's like, what do you have going on in your world? Yeah. So I've got a podcast. I'm on TikTok now. There's all kinds of things happening.
And we'll have the links in episode notes so that Christy is very easy to find rather than one of her imposters. But you know, yep. I kind of love this. I know it's annoying, but I'm like, girl, fame on purpose. If people are trying to impersonate you, we're on something.
It is fame on purpose. And I've literally been going to like conferences and people recognize me. They're like, oh my gosh, you're Christy Avis. I'm like, yes. You're like fame on purpose vibes. That's the next frequency for sure.
I'm so here for that frequency. That's another one I like to play with.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm watching you do it and just like out there embodying it as well.
Yay. Well, I love you so much, Christy. And thank you so much for coming onto the show. And everyone, definitely go back and listen to our first episode as well. If you enjoyed this one, I'll put in episode notes also, and reach out to Christy for all the things. She is just so fucking fire. And I love you so much.
I love you too, Jocelyn. Thank you so much for having me.